It's Coach Adam here going through the gym orientation at Carner Ave. We're going to start off by always coming into the gym and doing a 5-minute warm up on one of the many pieces of cardio equipment we have. I'm going to just start off by showing the recumbent bike here. And to start, we want to make sure that the seat height is at a good spot. So we grab this lever in the middle to adjust the seat height. And then we can also swivel the chair out with this back handle so it's easy to get into. And then we want to make sure the seat height is at a good spot where my feet aren't coming off the pedals. You can see here my feet are coming off a little bit. So I put both feet back down and I move the chair down a little bit, and then I can warm up on the recumbent here. The cool thing about the recumbent is it's getting both the arms and the legs, and it's probably the most joint-friendly piece of equipment we have here. And on most of the cardio equipment we have, other than the treadmills, you're going to need to move or start to exercise a little bit first before the machine will come on. The machines create their own electricity. Then once we hit the quick start button, we can adjust the level. That'll change the difficulty. But to start, we just come in, do an easy 5-minute warm up on this recumbent bike or one of the other pieces of equipment. And a little tip here is, let's say our lower body is a little bit sore, we can put our feet up on the pegs and we can just warm up the upper body, or we could take our hands off the handles and just do the lower body. So we have multiple options depending on how we're feeling for the day. Once we do a 5-minute bike here, on to the machines now. After we do some type of quick warm-up for 5 minutes on one of the cardio pieces of equipment, we're going to come on over to the machines, and the optimal way to attack this would be doing, let's say, an upper body machine and then doing a lower body machine and then coming back to an upper body machine. I'm going to start by showing you the machines that work out our large muscle groups, and then we have some machines that do more of the accessory exercises or those vanity exercises like the hamstring or like the biceps and the triceps, for example. This machine is going to mimic an incline press or an overhead press. We have a few different buttons here. The first thing I did was double check the weight stack to make sure the weight's not too heavy. This knob here is going to change the angle of the press. We don't want the start position too low because then it's going to put too much stress on that shoulder when we start. So I always recommend putting the handles all the way up. Then we have the seat here. For the shorter individuals, you're going to want the seat higher. If you're a little bit taller, you can keep the seat low. You're going to take a seat. We're just going to find a comfortable spot on some of these handles, and then we're just going to press or punch the weight up. So that would be the incline bench press. Now this machine and all the machines here basically have multiple functions. Okay, so now we can turn this machine into a straight overhead press, where I'm pressing more straight up over my head. But I will say that a lot of people have issues with their upper, our upper body, our mobility and flexibility. So this is a hard exercise to perform with good form without running into any limitations. So I would just recommend, when in doubt, do this exercise on the incline version. So that way we'll avoid injuries to the upper body. We're going to work our way right down all the machines here. But perfect scenario is you would do a lower body exercise after an upper body exercise. This machine, we also have two exercises. We have a horizontal row and a vertical pull down, which would mimic like a chin up or a pull up. What I'm going to do here is first check that weight stack to make sure it's not too heavy. Then I'm going to walk over the seat. I'm going to grab the handles with my palms facing me. I'm going to take a seat, and then I'm going to bring my hands right to my collarbone. Think about bringing those elbows back, pinching the shoulder blades for about 10 to 15 reps. And this exercise with the bar up here is going to mimic that chin up or that pull up that you did when you were younger, without really bugging the joints, which is the goal. Now we're going to grab the other handles here, and we're pulling the handles to our belly button here. Think about pinching the shoulder blades, just bringing the elbow straight back. This would be the cable row. Okay, moving down the weight stack or the machine aisle here, we have the ab crunch / back extension. Now I'm just going to say on this particular exercise, it could bother your back, and the reason is because this motion of rounding here or folding over has been shown to really aggravate people who have low back issues. Just keep that in mind when doing the crunch exercise. And so on this particular machine, I had to move this handle to the AB, which would be the abs. And then we have the back, which is the 1-2, that would be the back extension. So I grab the handles here, and then I'm doing a crunch forwards. But once again, I just really be cautious on this exercise. Folding over and round the back has been shown to cause or flare up back issues. So keep that in mind. For the back extension, here we're thinking about leaning back, and then we resist the weight on the way up as well. So leaning back, and then we resist the weight on the way up. So that'd be the crunch there and the back extension. I would really stay away from this machine if you have any type of low back issue. And the next machine I have here is an accessory exercise, or more of the vanity. So we'd maybe want to do this machine once we get the main muscle movers, like the incline bench or the row and the pull down, and then maybe some of these lower body machines. So for the seat, the shorter people, they're going to just pull the seat up, and it's going to move up automatically with you. And if you need to push the seat down, you got to push that button in, and the seat will lower. We want to find a spot that when we lean over, my arms are just dangling comfortably. So I might have to move the seat up just a little bit here. So this is a comfortable spot. And for the curl, we have this lever which will adjust either a tricep extension or a bicep curl. So I'm going to put it in the bicep curl slot. I'm going to find a comfortable spot for my hands, and I'm just going to bring them up to the face. So that'd be the bicep curl. And then for the tricep extension, I'm moving this lever, and I'm putting it in one of the holes for the tricep extension. And then I'm thinking about stabbing my hands down to the ground. It's like a hammer. I'm hammering that nail for the tricep extension. Let's finish up talking about the two lower body machines that we have here. And I'd recommend trying to do both these machines every time you come in. They're really going to target our bigger muscle groups. And first, we're going to check that weight stack. And then for the seat, once again, push the seat up if you're a little bit shorter, and then taller individuals, you're going to have to move that seat back. Once you sit on this machine, you want to make sure that the pad isn't right on top of our ankles. And let's start with the leg extension. This is going to work more the top of the legs. And the leg extension zone, I just move the lever to one of those, and the pad is going to be on top of my shins, and I'm going to be kicking my legs out. For the leg extension, that's going to target our quads, the top of the legs. Okay. And then we have the leg curl exercise. This is going to target your hamstrings. So I pulled that lever out and then I moved it down to where that leg curl zone is. And then I put my feet on top of the pad and I'm curling my heels, or I'm bringing my heels to my butt. And this is really going to work on the back side of your body, from the calves all the way up to your butt. That would be the leg curl exercise. Then let's finish up by talking about the leg press exercise. Once again, double check that weight stack to make sure it's not too heavy. And then we have the seat. To adjust it, we push it up. If you're a little bit shorter, you're going to need 2 hands on this one. And then you're going to have to press the button in to adjust it back. So we take a seat. We put one leg up at a time. And we want to make sure that when we do press out and extend those legs, we're not completely hyperextending those kneecaps or locking out those kneecaps, especially if you have some type of knee issue. And then on the way back, we're slowly returning the weight back to the stack so I don't hear a loud clunking noise. So nice and slow, returning the weight. So that would be the leg press exercise. Once you finish all the machines, and I'd recommend trying to do 10 to 15 reps for the machines, and optimally we alternate upper body machine and then do a lower body machine. So that way, not only are you able to get more exercises in because you're not sitting on the machine waiting 2 minutes for your rest, but we're also able to stimulate the heart rate a little bit and get a little bit of a fitness workout in as well. So we're really trying to maximize on our time here in the gym and get as much as we can. After the workout, we're going to finish with 10 minutes of a more intentional cardiovascular workout, at least 10 minutes. You could go all the way up to 30 minutes depending on how you're feeling for the day, or if your goal is to maybe improve your long distance duration. Let's say you want to be able to go for a walk without having to take a break on the weekends. So doing this for about 20 to 30 minutes would help improve that. The other option we could do on all these machines would be an interval style workout. That just means that we are putting the resistance or the intensity up to a higher level, and we're only going to be able to do that for, let's say, 10 seconds at a sprinting speed. So some type of speed where we're pushing it, our heart rate's getting elevated, and we're breathing heavier. Then what we want to do is rest for at least a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then we go back to that 10 seconds of that really close to maximal effort. And if we repeat that for about 10 minutes, where we do about 5 rounds of 10 seconds of hard effort, and then we rest for about a minute to 2 minutes, that way we'll build up our, we'll say our anaerobic output versus our aerobic output, which is, your long distance walks. Your anaerobic output would be being able to do stuff for short bursts of speed and energy. For example, let's say you need to quickly move to another room, or to brace yourself after you're stumbling a little bit. The interval training could help to improve more of that aspect. So being able to move fast and do things when your heart rate is elevated, that would be the benefit of the interval training. But just to get into the recumbent bike here again, remember we have this handle to raise and lower the seat. We can swivel the seat out here, and then we also have the backrest here. We can move the seat back or have it come forwards. We want to make sure that our feet will stay on the pedals the whole time. Remember, as I mentioned before, if our goal is just overall fitness, we're trying to not be winded when we go out and do our daily tasks, I would recommend 20 to 30 minutes continuously on this at a nice steady pace. But we should also try to do something where we are stimulating the heart rate and our breathing a little bit more as well. We just got to make sure that when we do get up to a level where we feel uncomfortable, that we take some time to rest before we do that again. So a cool thing about the bike here is I could do just the legs as well. I could go reverse backwards, which is a little bit harder on the quads. I could put my feet up and just do the upper body as well. And the recumbent bike here, I think, is my favorite exercise machine we have, because we can do all sorts of stuff. We can work on muscle, we can work on strength, we can work on our endurance as well. So just a thing on the recumbent bike here, if you slow down too much, the machine will shut off and you'll have to reset it. And it's just something we have to keep in mind on the recumbent bike. Let's move over to some of the other bikes we have here. So we have a non-back supported cycle here, and then we have a back supported bike here. So I recommend most people that have joint issues, joint pain, we want to stick with stuff that's joint friendly. So the recumbent bike is going to be that, and then the back supported bike is going to be the best thing to use there. Okay, the cycle, it is going to be a little bit harder on the low back because we are leaned over a little bit in it. For men, it could bother the prostate as well. So just keep that in mind. If you have a pre-existing issue already, we're here on this cycle. We want to make sure that the seat is high enough that we can fully walk out this leg. Okay, so that leg needs to be fully extended here. And the one thing I do caution about this, if you do have some low back, just this simple act of leaning forwards could aggravate the back there. So just keep that in mind when doing this bike. And once again, like the recumbent bike, we have to hit the quick start button to start moving. And then I'd recommend just looking up at the clock for either doing this for 20 to 30 minutes or for about 10 seconds of really hard work. And then we rest for about a minute, let our heart rate relax, and we do that again. Those are two different conditioning options that you could do on the cardio equipment here. Okay, the back supported bike here, we have this handle on the side just to move it forwards and backwards. And then we simply can take a seat, and there's another handle on the left side here where we can adjust the back angle. And just like all the other machines, you got to start moving the feet, and then the quick start will come up. Then we can hit the quick start. There we go. Hit that, that'll start the timer, and I can mess around with the level there and the difficulty. So once again, we can either do endurance type of workout, or we can do more of a interval style workout. I got two more pieces of equipment to talk about here, or actually three more. We'll talk about the treadmill here. So to start the treadmill, you're going to want to put your feet on the runners here, the outside. And then we also have this safety button. So this will do a hard stop on the machine. It's kind of like the emergency brake if you run into an issue. Unlike the other machines, this will already be turned on, and we just have to hit the quick start button. Then the speed will start moving. I'm going to adjust the speed before I put my feet on. Okay. Now I'll put my feet on, and I can still hold on here. It's a little bit too fast for me, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. And I'm also going to put the incline up. We always just want to put the incline up to mimic walking outside a little bit. And we can also use the speed and the incline here on the handles as well. And then some of these machines do have heart rate monitors on them, but I will say they're not as accurate So just take the heart rate as a grain of salt here. But in terms of, if you were going to focus on the heart rate, as we mentioned before, we're just trying to elevate it. So all we'd have to see is that heart rate get to a spot over 100, and then we want to get our heart rate back down and rest on those intervals. We can check to make sure our heart rate got back down to a reasonable level. Okay, once I am done with this machine, I'm going to put my feet off to the side before I hit the stop button. Okay, then the machine will stop. It will reset. You can take that emergency brake off. That would be the treadmill. And then over here we have the dual action bike. It's a lot like the recumbent. This is just an older style recumbent. But this seat swivels out, which is nice. We can swivel right back in. I have this handle in the middle that'll move us forwards and backwards. Then I can either grab just the handles here and work out the upper body, or I could put my feet in and just do the lower body, or I could do both the upper body and the lower body. And this machine lets you go at 2 different paces, so you could go lower body really fast and then upper body slow, or you could go upper body really fast and lower body slow. All right, the next machine I'm going to show you here is the, they call this an erg, or a rowing machine. And we have these straps first that we're going to put our feet in. And this machine runs off water resistance. So there's going to be really no way to adjust the difficulty on this. But the big key here on this is we got to bend the knees. We extend the legs first, and then we pull the arms. So extend the legs first, and then pull the arms. Legs first, and then arms. Legs first, and then arms. And this machine also does have a clock, so you can look at the time and your watts, or how much power or how fast you're moving, basically. The last cardio machines we have here are the elliptical machines, and these are just like the ones over at the Dorchester Senior Center. These are going to be a little bit harder on the joints because we're standing and we are coming on our tippy toes, so it is going to stimulate or really put more stress on the feet, the ankles, the calves, the hamstrings, the knees. So if you have any issues there, just keep that in mind. But just like the other machines, you're going to have to start moving first. And then I'm going to hit the quick start button. Okay. And these machines will count down from 30 minutes. So you could just do your long, slow distance there. You could do the interval training here, where we would say sprint for about 10 seconds. And then you're just going to go really slow, nice jog for a minute. And then we do that sprint again for about 10 seconds. And then we rest for a minute. We can also go backwards on this machine as well, which is really going to burn the quads. You know, on these machines, as I mentioned at the Dorchester Road Center, they do have built-in programs, but I find that they're hard to set up. It's confusing. So I would just recommend sticking with looking at the clock and messing around with the resistance level. And I think that wraps up the gym orientation here. We want to come in 5 minutes on cardio equipment. We want to hit the machines at least 10 to 15 reps for each machine in each. Some of these machines do 2, so we want to make sure that we get both those exercises. And then once we do the machines, we finish over at some piece of more intentional cardio for about 10 minutes on the short end if we're doing higher heart rate type of workout, or 20 to 30 minutes if we're doing a low, slow distance walk, for example.